Hey there, Evan Nathaniel Grimm. Welcome to my full moon forecast. This is for the Leo full moon on February 5th at 10:29 a.m. Pacific time. And the title that I'm giving for this full moon is Chase What Your Heart Desires. And no, I'm not making that up. I'm not being cheesy. That's actually what I see in this full moon. So I'm going to be showing my screen, going to be walking you through the core themes of this full moon. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to be sharing the screen here. This is looking at again, February 5th, and of course, you want to adjust for your local time, but this is showing the perspective from Los Angeles. And, when we think about full moons, well, first of all, you want to track where 16 degrees of Leo is in your charts, because that is where you can manifest something, bring it to a culmination, bring it to fruition, and even just kind of release something. And so follow where 16 degrees of Leo is, what house does that align with in your birth chart? And we want to think about both Leo and Aquarius in this context, because this is a sun-moon opposition. And so Aquarius is the expression of the group's needs. Leo is the expression of the self. And they're both fixed signs, which is really about persisting through a goal or a task. And, really where we are with this, in terms of the context of this full moon, we had the Aquarius New Moon 2 weeks earlier, and that symbolized a reality check on relationships, especially for fixed signs. So those with lackluster relationships gave them up or thought about giving them up. Others just defined their relationships, and others passed from one phase of a relationship to another. Because Saturn, which conjuncted and conjoined Venus on that new moon, Saturn represents separation. But sometimes it's a separation of phases. So if you had been in just a casual relationship, maybe you defined it. Or if you were in a serious relationship, maybe you put a ring on it. But also if you were in a marriage, maybe there was a divorce. So there's many different directions that Saturn can take us, but oftentimes it's about definition, and there's a clear end to something, because Saturn is also this awareness of limited time, and we want to get that relationship right. So again, many people probably defined, solidified, or ended relationships based on this awareness of limited time. So that Saturn-Venus conjunction in Aquarius was a little bit heavy, but also at that time, Uranus, the Great Awakener, stationed direct, and meaning all planets are now direct. So this full moon, therefore, has a lot of power to it and a lot of forward momentum. So we're really moving full speed ahead. Now, what does Leo represent? Leo represents the heart. And on a full moon, matters of the heart are emphasized. And what makes this one really exciting is that Uranus is forming a T-square to the sun and moon, which will accelerate our movement towards things that we love with Leo. I'll talk about this in a few minutes, but we also have Venus applying a square to Mars, which is adding some harmony to our otherwise hectic or busy lives. But to really lean into this Leo full moon, we have to think about the archetype and the themes of of Leo. So Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun sits at the center of our solar system. And what does the sun do? It emanates its rays, it emanates its life force and its power, and really makes life possible. It's in your own life. Leo represents that. It represents the life force that you emanate. It is about engaging with audiences or engaging with people over what you love and what really motivates you to express yourself creatively, because every fire sign is good at taking risks. In fact, every fire sign pertains to that, taking a risk. Aries dares to be first, Leo dares to create expressively, and Sagittarius dares to adventure and explore. So in this context, we're thinking about, on the full moon, these Leo qualities, which everybody has Leo in their chart, which is why, I was saying, look where 16 degrees of Leo is for you. But everybody has this inner Leo that comes out during this time period, during a Leo full moon. Everybody has a natural talent or a creative gift or some other expressiveness that they want to, pour out into the world. And it comes from this place of inner joy. So Leo as a sign is really about embracing that happiness within, but actually projecting it out, to the benefit of other people. So Leo is not inherently a selfish sign. Leo is being out in the sun and being recreational and just enjoying what the sun has, to offer. Because the sun is the enlightenment, and the moon is the embodiment. So when you have a full moon in Leo, we're really talking about this link, this marriage between the solar energy and the lunar energy, the masculine and the feminine archetypes. And that moon is embodying this idea of Leo. It's embodying that and bringing that to a culmination, to a climax in this phase. And of course, we have a Leo full moon every year around this time. So that in of itself only can take us so far in terms of guiding us through this. But what makes this special and electrifying is that Uranus, as you can see in this chart, is T-squaring that sun and moon right in the middle at that midpoint, almost partile, almost exact. And what does Uranus pertain to? Well, as I said, Uranus is the great awakener. Uranus is quantum leaps in awareness. It's about acceleration. So we are accelerating out of a stagnant situation from the Aquarius New Moon. Maybe we left behind a certain relationship, or we committed to a certain relationship that is exciting to us. And with Uranus now, it's giving us access to jump a couple steps ahead and go really fast. But fast into what? Faster into our true joy. And so this full moon to me presents a number of key questions. So how can I pursue my passions and my dreams without status quo structures in my life? And also reflect on what's currently holding me back from my dreams. How can I make space for and embrace change with Uranus being so involved? What opens opportunities for my liberation? And what has been dormant within me that needs to wake up? Because if you think about the connection between Taurus, which is where Uranus is, and Leo, Taurus is the natural talents. Taurus is the sense of self-worth. And it is these gifts. And then Leo is taking that and expressing it to the world. So Uranus and Taurus, yes, can, in a mundane context, be about the destabilization of money, of finance, of logistics, of value. But squaring the Leo moon on a personal level, you're being electrified to take a different step, to pivot, and also to awaken to what you really value within yourself and how you want to express that. Leo is giving you a channel to let that out. So if you value music and you've veered away from music for years, this is your time to plug back into that system, to plug back into that gift that you have. If you've been veering away from astrology for a long time, this is your moment to get back into that. So Uranus is giving you keys to get into the fast lane, full speed ahead. All the planets are direct. And it may be a reaction to someone else saying you can't do that. So Saturn, with that Saturn-Venus conjunction on the new moon 2 weeks earlier, there was a little bit of a heaviness of like, I have responsibilities towards somebody else, or I have responsibilities towards my art. Venus can be art. I have responsibilities towards my finances, which Venus is also about. So whatever you felt responsible for on the Aquarius new moon, which I believe was January 21st, whatever you felt responsible for at that time, you have a chance to really take that into a new direction on this full moon. So that's how Saturn and Uranus can actually work together. So Saturn is committing to something, committing to a path, and Uranus is giving you this sudden outlet to go, again, full speed ahead, but maybe through something unexpected. So you do have to expect the unexpected a little bit on this full moon, because Uranus is sudden shocks, sudden changes. And so it's unpredictable. We don't always know how we're going to get there, but I do think Uranus is allowing you to jump and take a leap of faith and go forward with what you truly value. And this is an exercise everybody should do, is to write down their top values. Write down your top 5 values and see if your values are aligned or misaligned with the people that you surround yourself with, or the vocation that you're chasing right now, or the vocation or career that you're committed to. So I see this as a very positive full moon, as long as you ask yourself those key questions. So being hyper aware of where you stagnated and where the opportunities for growth, rapid growth, truly are. And Uranus can be even social media, the internet, So maybe you're plugging into a group that really activates your inner joy in a new way. Or maybe it's just an in-person community. You want to assemble with people who are on the same spiritual quest as you. And now on the Aquarius New Moon, you may have ended a relationship based on that, based on the fact that this person doesn't have the same mission. They don't even have the same conception of what it means to know something. Maybe they just have a completely different outlook on the world. And you need the right people in your corner right now, because Pluto will be entering its ingress into Aquarius is very soon. It's only about a month and a half away. And when Pluto enters Aquarius, we're all going to feel this Uranian energy within our collective subconscious. We're going to feel like driving a lot of rapid change. Now, other themes here, well, the ruler of this full moon, as always, is the sun, because the sun rules Leo. Now, the sun is in Aquarius, and it is trining Mars in Gemini and squaring Uranus. So I like the Sun-Mars trine because that's a lot of strength and courage to chase these things I'm talking about, but also to have conversations with new communities with Mars and Gemini. But also we do have that Uranus square. So keep in mind, Uranus is squaring the sun and the moon. So it's sitting at that midpoint, and the midpoint of a T-square is the solution, is the compromise. So a full moon is always a sun-moon opposition. So sometimes people feel conflicted on a full moon where it's like, my emotions are over here, my conscious self is over here. And how do I reconcile this? Well, Uranus is right in the middle saying, okay, well, if you feel stuck or if you feel, pulled apart by two opposing forces, dualistic forces, Uranus goes beyond duality. That's post-duality. So it's saying, why do we have to do either or? Why can't it be both and? Why can't it be both? Why can't both things be true? Why can't you be both amazing at data analysis and music? Why can't they both be true? And then how do I synthesize that? Maybe I become maybe I just become a performing artist who is also my own internal marketing house. And I'm using my data analytics to know which city I need to go to play a show in next. So that's just an example, but Uranus is, in my opinion, very much about this alchemization, this synthesis of different energies. So when I'm talking about, chasing your heart's desires, Leo being the heart, and Uranus being accelerating into that, you might be wondering like, well, I've thought about this and I don't know what that is still, or I've tried this and it didn't work. But I'm here to tell you that you may have overlooked a really obvious solution or a really genius solution, because Uranus is very genius energy. So maybe, you haven't found a way yet. Maybe you just haven't thought of what is the synthesis of my artful side and my technical side. What is the synthesis of my athletic ability and my spirituality? Maybe there's things that you already have with Taurus is in your natural talents. Taurus is our natural talents. You're going to have to recalibrate and utilize those in a fresh way. Apply a fresh lens to what you already have, but make sure that it's very heart-centered in the heart so that you love it. It brings you this joy. It's igniting that flame, continuing that passion, and it's almost like you're in the honeymoon phase with that new alchemy. You're creating this new thing because Leo is very creative. So be creative on this full moon, right? Be creative about what you could be doing in the best of both worlds scenario. So again, you don't have to just be in this either or, Mercury dualistic mindset, because Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Now, other themes that you can see in this chart is that Mercury is trining Uranus, which does bode well for innovative thinking. But also what's interesting is Venus is applying a square to Mars. So that could mark a time of arguments over values or within relationships. But because Venus is applying the square as the faster moving planet, this could demand a bit more intuition and right brain thinking rather than over rationalizing. So basically, to come back to what I was saying, to have faith in a relationship or a creation or your creativity, because Mars and Gemini is a busy, busy, busy energy. It's constantly, booking new appointments and calling and texting people and filling out paperwork and doing all these Mercury related tasks. That's what Mars and Gemini wants to do. It wants to get things done. It wants to move really fast. I have Mars and Gemini in my birth chart. It's like I try to accomplish the task of 5 people every single day. But Venus in Pisces, exalted, by the way, is coming in to challenge and confront Mars and say, well, why don't we add more, feeling into these activities? Why don't we have more faith in, again, how things actually just feel, our direct experience, and not always getting caught in this restless mind of overanalyzing, over rationalizing. So I like that Venus Mars square, actually. Even though it's a square, yes, it's confrontational. Yes, Pisces and Gemini have nothing in common. But because Venus is applying that, I do feel that it's really a call. It's a call for balance. It's a call for balance in the right versus left brain. So, like I said, you might have overlooked what it is that you can really do with your life because you've over rationalized and you've thought about, well, this is impossible. I can't possibly get into have any traction in the spiritual community, or I can't possibly book a national tour with my band. But around this full moon, it's like you might realize how you can get there from point A to point Z in just a few steps. But it all starts with Uranus, to me, really alchemizing and synthesizing what you already have at your disposal. Now, because it's a T-square, I'm not going to lie, on a mundane scale, on a global scale, this might be a little bit destabilizing for people. So it's destabilizing maybe some people's conceptions of reality even, or what they should even care about. But you're not, hopefully, if you're watching this video, you're not one of those people, like I think we live in this world where honestly, the vast majority of people are not really tapped in to what's sort of what is being elevated and how, what energy is outside of themselves. Many people sit within their own ego. They believe that, just to read something is to know something, or, they have a completely false, sense of what knowledge even is, and where we're going. But if you're watching this, you're into astrology or Reiki or tarot or any other form of spirituality or divination, then you're coming online, you're ready for the Pluto and Aquarius energy, and Uranus rules Aquarius. So this is a time to leap into. This is an insight that I just channeled. What I really see here is this is your time to find and do the thing that will passionately sustain you throughout that Pluto and Aquarius transit, which is 20 years long. But when Pluto is in Aquarius, we will focus on awakening, elevation of consciousness, transcendence. And Uranus here, T-squaring the sun and moon, is giving you a gift. And again, it's saying, well, yeah, maybe you can find a way to do this type of spirituality or do this type of art or whatever you want to do. And maybe even expand your presence through Uranian functions like the internet or conferences or communities or networks. So create these. So find your tap into your passion, which you already have, you already know, and then sort of create these network effects. Spread your, be the water bearer, distribute your water to the masses, because we need every spiritual person to really come online right now and express themselves here creatively. So I really do think that this is your full moon to have a very positive breakthrough. I think that there definitely will be a number of you who will, finally really tap into maybe tap into the thing that you've always known that you wanted to do. And this is the last thought I had. So, and I'm glad I remembered it. So, we live in an era right now where your inner joy is basically taken away at a certain point. So there's a sense that in adulthood, you're supposed to go along with the program and do this particular job and just go along to get along. But the Leo energy is this reminder that we all have this inner joy, this inner child within us that we need to express. We need to hold on to. And Leo is creativity. And I meet a lot of people who say that they don't have creativity, they're not creative, but that's not true, because if you watch, when you're young, and you're playing with Legos, or you're playing with Barbie dolls, or you're imagining scenarios about this villain versus this good person, and whatever it is, we all start out creative. And I would argue we actually all start out psychic too, but our instincts are discouraged. Our creativity is discouraged so that we can fit in and assimilate into society and go along with that program. But this is that time to recapture what you already have. So this is, again, you already have this, but Uranus is helping you synthesize this into something you can actually do for a living now, as an adult. So I do hope this was helpful. If you, by the way, if you want to get a reading from me, you can get one through the link down below. I'm also hosting a retreat in Croatia this September. So if you want to spend a week with me in Croatia along the Mediterranean coast, I'm hosting custom astrology workshops that you're not going to get anywhere else. Also, all the attendees get a complimentary birth chart reading. So it's a really fun time. And, let me know if you have any questions about that as well. And also, I just wrapped up my first round of astrology courses for 2023, but I will be announcing another tomorrow after I film this video. So you should follow me on Instagram to keep up with those announcements related to my courses. So again, can't thank you enough. Really appreciate your time. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube and spread the word. And I hope you have a great day. Take care.